And welcome back to the Zanpakuto creation series. Today's Zanpakuto creation comes to us from JRC. What's the question? What is Katara's Zanpakuto from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Katara is one of those characters who I actually feel the abilities to translate closer to what the Zanpakuto actually is, also given the culture she's from. Elemental type, I think, is the obvious answer here. It's standard katana, no doubt. Its release command, I believe, would be the word flow, like water. Its release would be Water Princess, or Mizuhime. Its Bankai, though, would most likely be something more akin to like going from princess to queen, Ascension of the Water Queen. Or, depending on the translation, the way I got it from Google Translate anyway, Josu no Mizu Jo, or Mizu no Ju no Akusento. Most likely it would be it'd probably be more of the former, but either way. Its spirit would most likely actually take the form of the river spirit we see in the episode The River Spirit. And the form of the blade, this is where I think, because we only see so many elemental Zanpakutos in the Bleach universe. We've seen a couple fire. We've seen one ice, although Katara. Rukia's is technically ice, is more dealing with actual cold, not ice. But we've only actually seen the one ice type with Hitsugaya's. And with all the elemental types we've so far seen, they all do still take a form. Like they're usually a blade of some kind, or in Ejibana's case, it's a trident. I think how Katara's could be, though, is it actually turns into water. Like, the blade itself doesn't change shape or anything like that, but it turns into water. And the blade has the consistency of a blade that is of water. It still cuts. It can still hit and go into combat with someone if she needs to, because she can solidify it with a Ryatsu. But because it's water, she can bend it, more or less. Not because she's a bender, but in this case, that is what the blade actually is capable of doing, is basically changing its shape, going from water to, going from a solid with a Ryatsu to not solid. So it would actually make it quite interesting because it can change its form into whatever she needs within a certain amount, or with certain length, certain style. I assume in experience, the blade would maybe even grow stronger, say from going from a katana to Kodachi. Maybe it could even shrink and be a large, like, club of water that she can compress the sword into a blade, and therefore hardening like the strength of the water under immense pressure. I think as the Katara advanced in the Gotei 13, while the release command and its release would still look like just a katana made of water, if she would actually allow the katana's full, or the Shikai's full abilities to be shown off, it would actually be a much larger blade than what is shown. The fact is, she uses her Ryatsu to compress it down, pressurize it, so it's basically a hardened blade of water without being ice. This also makes it very dangerous because, like I said, it can change form to whatever she needs. It could be a whip, a tentacle, it could be a club, it could be like, she could turn it into like ninja stars and then just retract the water back. The dangerous thing, though, would be in actual close quarters combat because if she's going in for close quarters combat and two blades clash, at any point she can immediately just phase that guy's blade through her water blade and just come in for an attack. Turning it into a hammer is an option. Turning it into like a grappling hook, a rope, whatever. It's all a matter of the imagination. So it'd be a very versatile Shikai, absolutely. But it's only as versatile as her Ryatsu and her strength allows. Otherwise, if there's not a lot of control to it, it would just be a blade of water with just enough water that a katana blade would have, which wouldn't be a lot. The Bankai, I imagine being kind of like a water equivalent of what Hitsugaya's is, where she is essentially wearing her Bankai. It wouldn't be the form of a dragon, mind you, but probably something more akin to what the river spirit looked like in that episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. She'd probably be wearing like this flowing cloak of water. Her blade would be much larger. Maybe she has like a shield. Maybe she's wearing like a water-esque hat. she's wrapped in water, yet because it's the nature of her Bankai, she's not getting wet or anything. And it's basically, again, like Hitsugai's abilities, amplified abilities, except now with a lot more options. She can spin her water gown and just throw water spikes. She can gather water from the atmosphere like Hitsugai or Halibel can and just fuel her Bankai even more. She can create massive torrents of waves with enough water. She can bring down a giant rainstorm. She couldn't do that because she can't control the weather. In theory, if you want to get really powerful, she could even pull the water out of someone to more or less, A, feed her abilities even more, but B, very much cripple them. Again, it's all for imagination and control that you can use with elements like this. Now, that said, however, this Zanpakuto would be extremely, again, it's a Ryatsu versus Ryatsu, whatever, but it would be extremely weak to things like high-level fire Zanpakuto, like Ryujin. This is an unusable sword against Ryujin Jika. She could not go up against Yamamoto. She couldn't even release the damn thing. Even a Shikai would probably be producing so much heat that the water would just evaporate before she does anything. Her Bankai might be able to last a little bit, but it can't do anything otherwise. So it's a useless against fire types. It would also be useless probably against lightning-based Zanpakuto as well, as water is a conduit for electricity. So it's definitely got its elemental foils, definitely. Also, it's a matter, the cutting edge can only cut through so much. There's probably objects that Zanpakuto can't go up against. Can't go up against true, like an iron wall or anything like that. Couldn't take down someone of a power level like Kenpachi or a Yamamoto or an Aizen, because the Ryatsu would just be so overwhelming. Also, there's no telling how this would do against other Kido-based Zanpakutos. For example, there's no telling how this would do against, say, think words here. Urahara's blade. I'm not talking about Urahara in general, because Urahara would probably beat the crap out of Katara as a Shinigami, because it's freaking Urahara. There's probably only a handful of people you can probably count on your hand the characters who probably could beat Urahara. Well, maybe not on your hand, but it's far and few between the people who could probably outright beat Urahara in a fight. But again, not possible. But yeah, no. But someone like an Urahara or a Shunsui who has a Kido type Zanpakuto, a Yumachika. Most likely Yumachika would be because he basically creates these giant plant tendrils that feed on Ryatsu. Plants use water in real life, so there you go. It's a Zanpakuto with a lot of power, a lot of versatility, but it also comes with a fair amount of problems as well. Not problems necessarily, but things that can definitely screw it up. So that is, in my opinion, though, Katara's Zanpakuto. I'm glad I could actually find an image that isn't like just an image with a background, like one of these images that I can just put the character there. It's harder for me to do. Ever since my computer updated at one point, certain images I can't do that with anymore. I can't add certain images to this, but it doesn't recognize them for some reason. Maybe I need to update my OBS. I don't know. Until then, though, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you folks for the next one. How it going?